Alright, welcome back. So let's read some meditations, shall we? And today we are gonna be on book 6. Pretty good progress, I would say. Not too bad, not too bad. And today we are going to read it for 20 minutes, and the timer starts. Wait for it, wait for it. And the timer starts now. Alrighty, here we go. Some things are hurrying to come into being, others are hurrying to be gone, and part of that which is being born is already extinguished. Flows and changes are constantly renewing the world, just as the ceaseless passage of time makes eternity ever young. In this river, then, where there can be no foothold, what should anyone prize of all that races past him? It is as if he were to begin to fancy one of the little sparrows that fly past, but already it is gone from his sight. Indeed, this is the nature of our very lives, as transient as exhalation of vapor from the blood or breath drawn from the air. No different from a single breath taken in or returned to the air, something which we do every moment. No different is the giving back of your whole power of breathing, acquired at your birth, just yesterday and thereabouts, to that world from which you first drew it. There is nothing to value in transpiring like plants or breathing like cattle and wild animals and wild creatures. Nothing in taking the stamp of sense impressions or jerking to the puppet strings of impulse. Nothing in herding together or taking food. This last is no better than voiding the waste of that food. What then is to be valued? Applause? No, not therefore the applause of tongues either. The praise of the masses is mere rattle of tongues. So you have jettisoned trivial glory too. What remains to be valued? To my mind, it is to act or refrain from action according to our own proper constitution, something to which skills and crafts show the way. Every craft seeks to make its product suit the purpose for which it is produced. This is the aim of the gardener. This is the aim of the gardener, the vine dresser, the breaker of horses, the dog trainer. And what is the end to which the training of children and their teaching strives? So this is the true value. And if this is firmly held, you will not be set on acquiring any of the other things for yourself. Will you not then cease to value much else besides? Otherwise, you will not be free or self-sufficient or devoid of passion. You will need to be envious and jealous to suspect those who have the power to deprive you of these things, and to intrigue other people, and to intrigue against other people, and to intrigue against people who possesses what you value. In short, anyone who feels the need of any of these things is necessarily sullied. And what is more, he will often be driven to blame the gods too. But reverence of your own mind and the value you give to it will make you acceptable to yourself, in harmony with your fellows, and consonant with the gods. That is praising all that they assign and have disposed. This paragraph is amazing, so I will repeat this paragraph again. So this is a true value, and this is firmly held. You will not be set on acquiring any of the other things for yourself. Will you not then cease to value much else besides? Otherwise you will not be free or self-sufficient, or devoid of passion. You will need to be envious and jealous to suspect those who have power to deprive you of these things, and to intrigue against people who possesses what you value. In short, anyone who feels the need of any of these things is necessarily sullied. And what is more, he will often be driven to blame the gods too. But reverence of your own mind and the value you give to it will make you acceptable to yourself, in harmony with your fellows, and consonant with the gods. That is praising all that they assign and have disposed. Up, down, round and round are the motions of elements, but the movement of active virtue follows none of these. It is something more divine, and it journeys on to success along the path hard to understand. What a way to behave! They refuse to speak well of people who live as their contemporaries and in their company, but they set great store by their own good name among future generations, which they have never seen nor ever will see. Yet this is brother to feeling vexed that your predecessors were not singing your praises. Do not imagine that if something is hard for you to achieve, it is therefore impossible for any man, but rather consider anything that is humanly possible and appropriate to lie within your own reach too. In the field of play, an opponent scratches us with his nails, say, or gives us a butting blow with his head. But we do not mark him for that, or take offense, or suspect him afterwards of deliberate attack. True, we do keep clear of him, but this is good-natured avoidance, not suspicion or treating him as an enemy. Something similar should be the case in the other areas of life too. We have people who are our opponents in the game. We have people who are our opponents in the game, and we should overlook much of what they do. We can avoid them, as I say, without suspicion or enmity. If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake in any thought or action, I shall gladly change. I seek the truth, which should never harm anyone, and the harm is to persist in one's own self-deception and ignorance. The harm is to persist in one's own self-deception and ignorance. I seek the truth, which never harmed anyone. The harm is to persist in one's own deception and ignorance. Wow, this is crazy. I do my own duty. The other things do not distract me. They are either inanimate or they are either inanimate or irrational, or have lost the road and are ignorant of the true way. Since you have reason and they do not, treat dumb animals and generally all things and objects with generosity and decency. Treat men, because they have reason, with social concern, and in all things call on the gods, and do not let it matter to you for how long you will be alive in this work. Even 3 hours spent thus are sufficient. Alexander of Macedon and his Alexander of Macedon and his muleteer were leveled in death. Either they were taken up into same generative principle of the universe, or they were equally dispersed into atoms. Reflect on how many separate events, both bodily and mental, are taking place in each one of us in the same tiny fragment of time. Then you will not be surprised if many more events, indeed all that comes to pass, subsist together in the one and the whole, which we call the universe. If someone puts you to the question, how is the name Antonius spelled? Will you shout your way through each of the syllable? What then if they get angry? Will you lose your temper too? Will you not rather calmly go through the sequence of letters, telling each one in turn? So also, in your life here, remember that every duty is a complete sum of certain actions. You must observe these without being disconcerted or answering others' resentment with your own, but following each purpose methodically to its end. How cruel it is not to allow people to strive for what seems to them their interest and advantage. And yet in a way you are forbidding them to do this. When you fuss that they are wrong, they are surely drawn to their own interest and advantage. But it is not actually so. Well then teach them, show them, do not fuss. Death is relief from reaction to the senses, from the puppet strings of impulse, from the analytical mind, and from service to the flesh. Disgraceful if in this life where your body does not fail, your soul should fail your... Oh! I'm really speaking really badly today. Disgraceful if, in this life where your body does not fail, your soul should fail your Disgraceful if, in this life where your body does not fail, your soul should fail you first. Take care not to be Caesarified or dyed in purple. It happens. So keep yourself simple, good, pure, serious, unpretentious, a friend of justice, God-fearing, kind, full of affection, strong for a proper work. Strive hard to remain the same man that philosophy wished to make you. Revere the gods, look after men. Life is short. The one harvest of existence on earth is godly habit of mind and social action. The one harvest of existence on earth is a godly habit of mind and social action. Always as a always as a pupil of Antonius. His energy for all that was done always as a pupil of Antonius, his energy for all that was done according to reason, his constant equability, his piety, his serene expression, his gentleness, his lack of conceit, his drive to take a firm grasp of affairs, how he would never put anything at all aside without first looking closely into it and understanding it clearly, how he would tolerate those who unfairly blame him without returning to the how he would tolerate those who unfairly blamed him without returning the blame, how he was never rushed into anything. He would not listen to malicious gossip. He was an accurate judge of men's character and actions, slow to criticize, immune to rumor and suspicion, devoid of pretense. How he was content with little by way of house, bed, dress, food, servants, his love of work and his stamina. He was a man to stay at the same task until evening, not even needing to relieve himself except at his usual hour. Such was his frugal diet, constant and fair in his friendships, tolerant of frank opposition to his own views, and delighted to be shown a better way, God-fearing, but not superstitious. So may your own So may your own last hour find you with a conscience as clear as his. Sober up, recall yourself, shake off sleep once more, realize they were mere dreams that troubled you, and now you are awake again. Look at these things as you would have looked at them. Sober up, recall yourself, shake off sleep once more, Realize they were mere dreams that troubled you, and now that you are awake again, look on these things as you would have looked on a dream. I am made of a body and a soul. I I I am made of body and soul. Now to the poor body all things are indifferent, as it cannot even make any distinction. To the mind all that is not its own activity is indifferent, and its own activities are all in its control. But within these the mind is only concerned with the present. Its activities in the future and the past are also indifferent at any present moment. Forgive me, guys. Today I am not performing too well, but tomorrow we are gonna come back stronger, and I'll see you tomorrow.